We threw the doll away, and it came back. Not once, but twice. The second time, it wasn't hidden. It was just lying there in our backyard, as if it had been waiting for us. In 2013, during Christmas in Houston, a young girl received a Disney Frozen Elsa doll. As a gift, it looked completely ordinary. A children's toy designed to sing, "Let It Go," and speak a few lines from the movie, when a small button on its necklace was pressed. For the first 2 years, nothing about it seemed unusual. The doll only spoke when activated, only in English, and spent most of its time sitting quietly among the child's other toys. It was, in every sense, normal. But in 2015, something about the doll began to change. At first, it was subtle enough to ignore. The doll started speaking in Spanish, not consistently, but randomly, switching between English and Spanish without any pattern. There was no setting to control the language, no hidden switch, nothing in the instructions that explained it. What they didn't realize was that this was only the beginning. The doll had been in their home for years, and during all that time, its batteries had never been replaced, yet it continued to function perfectly. Its voice remained clear, its volume unchanged, showing none of the usual signs of fading power. Then came the first truly unsettling incident. One quiet afternoon, when no one was in the room, a soft voice suddenly echoed from the corner. "Let it go." The doll had activated on its own. There was no movement, no one near it, just that sudden cheerful voice breaking the silence. Moments later, it went quiet again, as if nothing had happened. After that, the incidents became more frequent and far harder to ignore. Late at night, when the house was completely still, the doll would suddenly begin to speak. Sometimes it sang softly, other times it whispered phrases in Spanish. The sound would drift through the dark hallway, reaching the bedrooms, where everyone lay awake, listening. The most disturbing part was that the switch on the doll's back was often turned off when this happened. It wasn't supposed to make any sound at all in that state, and yet it did, clearly, deliberately, as if the switch meant nothing. The child grew afraid of the doll and refused to keep it in her room. The family moved it to other parts of the house, but the feeling of unease followed it. There were moments when its voice would suddenly come from behind them, from a shelf or a corner where no one had touched it. Each time, the same cold realization crept in. The doll was not behaving like a normal object anymore. By December 2019, the family had reached their limit. Whatever the explanation was, they didn't want the doll in their home anymore. They threw it away, placing it in the garbage outside and making sure it was gone. For a while, everything seemed fine. The house was quiet again. The strange voices had stopped. It felt like whatever had been happening was finally over. But weeks later, that feeling was shattered. The doll was found again inside the house. The doll was hidden inside a bench in the living room, placed where it wouldn't be immediately noticed. When the parents asked their children about it, they denied bringing it back. Their confusion was real, their fear obvious. And deep down, the parents knew the truth. No one had gone outside, dug through the garbage, and returned it. There was no logical explanation for how it had gotten there. After that, something about the doll changed again. It stopped speaking in English entirely. Every time it activated, it spoke only in Spanish, its voice sounding the same, but somehow different. The randomness was gone, replaced by something more consistent, more intentional, and far more disturbing. Determined to end it for good, the family took extra precautions. They sealed the doll tightly inside 2 garbage bags, pressing out the air and tying them securely before placing it deep inside the trash. On collection day, they watched as it was taken away, making sure it was completely gone. Shortly after, they left for a trip, putting distance between themselves and everything that had happened. When they returned home, the first thing they noticed was the silence. The house felt normal again. For a moment, it seemed like it was finally over. Then they stepped into the backyard and saw it. The doll was lying there in the open, untouched, as if it had simply appeared. It wasn't dirty or damaged from being in the trash. It looked exactly the same as it always had, its pale face turned slightly upward, as if it had been placed there, waiting to be found. That was the moment they stopped trying to understand it. Without hesitation, they decided to send it as far away as possible. They packed it carefully and mailed it to a trusted friend in Minnesota, explaining everything that had happened. The friend, unsettled by the story, took no chances. He taped the doll firmly to the front bumper of his truck, ensuring it would always be visible, always in sight, never out of reach. Since then, the doll has never returned to the family in Houston. No voices, no movement, nothing. But sometimes late at night, when everything is quiet and the memory comes back, there's one thought that refuses to go away. If something like that could follow them, come back to them, twice, then maybe it was never tied to the house at all. Maybe it was tied to the doll, and maybe it just needed a new place to stay.